This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts, Alex and Rayven Greer.
Hi, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use they, them pronouns.
And welcome back to
Smoking Out the Closet.
How are you doing, everybody? This is once again your queer stoners into the world of cannabis and the LGBT community. I really sounded official on that one,
You really
didn't
did. What are you smoking on today, Rayven?
I just finished my last joint of my Cresco Pineapple Express, and I'm a little bummed because, that was my last one. That's the last I have till I go to the dispensary again.
You make it sound like it's such a trek. It's like 10 minutes down the road.
Yes, but who knows when the next time we're going to be able to actually go to this dispensary, cuz...
We're moving! Before we get into that big topic, I'm smoking on the sour papaya. I can't remember who made it. I just want to let you know. I think it's the same people. It's Illera's Flower Company. Because Illera's for, their vapes, and then they have a flower line company.
Oh, isn't it Kind something? Kind Tree?
Yeah, Kind Tree. Kind Tree's sour papaya. It's really nice.
Wow.
Oh my god, are you gonna use that for the podcast?
Yeah, I have a meme soundboard on my phone, and I'm gonna just use it on the podcast.
You're a meme.
So...
Oh lord, here we go. Anyway, we're moving.
Yeah, we're moving.
You're gonna tell all the beautiful people where we're moving to.
We're gonna be moving to just outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in this one place called McKees Rock?
Yeah, McKees Rocks. Whoa, excuse me.
It's kind of the Grafton Heights area.
Grafton Heights, about 20 minutes away from Moon Township, about 30 minutes away from Pittsburgh International Airport.
And about 15 minutes where you're going to be working.
Yeah, my new store. I'm so excited. Assistant manager position.
Woo!
Woo!
So why don't you start? Because we accidentally made a weed... You were only weed tonight, and I was only the LGBTQIA plus stuff.
And I was, sitting here looking for stuff, and I was just kind of and Raven's like, what? And I was like, I only have weed stuff. She's like, well, I only have gay stuff. And I was like, all right, we have enough for a podcast. Let's do this.
Also, can I just say, I'm in my uniform.
Her pajamas. Her Halloween pajamas that glow in the dark. And her weed beanie with the little stash pocket on the front.
Hey. Also, shout out to Spencer's for this fucking beanie. I love it.
We love you guys. Not a sponsor, but totally send us money. We will rep your merch.
But the thing I wanted to say though was this. You forgot to mention that my pajamas is a matching set that you also have.
Yeah, we have matching Halloween pajamas. They're adorable.
So anyway, do you want to go first?
Oh yeah. So I'll start with the news side of things on a kind of serious note. Because my other one's kind of lighthearted and fun. So the title of this article that I found is New York Employers Can't Test Workers for Weed. It was posted on October 19th on the New York Post website.
That was legitimate. Yeah, it was.
I'm high and it's funny.
Okay. Anyway, it was on the New York Post on the 19th. And I wrote some key talking points from the article. Albany's Labor Department has issued a new guideline on Tuesday, the 19th, that bans employers in-state from testing employees for cannabis unless workers seem visibly stoned on the job. It goes on to say that even reeking of pot smoke would not be grounds for a test. I also like how I was sober and I wrote this and I forgot the E on smoke. The guidance states verbatim, observable signs of use that do not indicate impairment on their own cannot be cited as an articulable symbol of impairment. So basically, symptom. I don't know why I keep saying symbol. Basically, if you go and you have the red eyes and your pupils are dilated and you kind of a squinty look.
Basically, squinty eyes, red
eyes, you smell bad.
Get some clear eyes.
Yeah, you, the person in the Clear Eyes commercial, you got those bags, that you get when you're high. That's not enough for, say, if I'm your employer, to say, I fire you, you're under the influence. Yeah, boy! Since weed is still illegal on the federal level, commercial vehicle drivers would still need to be tested under federal and state law. And there was a statement that went out, two statements actually. One from a memo directly from the people making this law towards the New York Police Department, and one from the New York Police Department spokesperson wrote to an email to the Post. The first one, all existing patrol guide procedures regarding marijuana prohibition, as well as drug screening procedures, remain in effect. NYPD officers are not allowed to smoke marijuana when they are off duty. That latter was what the spokesperson wrote to the Post. But it's kind of cool. That's like a win.
Yeah.
So like basically, but if you're like carrying your mail, you're a postal worker, those are considered under those federal employees, so you're not allowed to go home. And if your knees ache from walking around, smoke a joint.
Yeah. Which just kind of sucks because, my papa, or for you non-Southerners, my grandfather, he worked in the post office for most of my life. And it's probably not helped him at all, especially with how old he is now.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Your turn.
Okay, also, I'm not apologizing for the meme soundboard. It's funny.
Okay.
Purr, 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 purr.
You are a meme soundboard.
I am, especially when I'm high. And I'm surprised I kept it together this long. We're 6 episodes deep. Oh, before we get to... Do we talk about moving in more detail?
We talked about moving in a little bit more detail.
Okay. It's just going to mess up with some of our schedule stuff, so we're going to try posting online like we should, like on our usual Tuesdays. But we might record at a different point, so some news may be a little off.
Perfect example, tonight we're recording on a Saturday night instead of a Sunday night. No, it's a Friday night. What day is it?
Honey, it's Thursday.
What?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, shit, dog.
We're recording today because our next episode, we're going to have a guest
We have
appearance.
a guest on Saturday. I was getting those two confused.
Yeah, we're recording on Saturday because of our guest.
Today's Thursday night. We're recording an episode on Saturday, and then Sunday I was like, my boss was like, yo, fall reset, come to the store. I will bring pizza, you bring the games after we're done. We're going to get paid to have a party.
So my first thing is, and I originally did this with a Sam Elliott voice when I read the title to you. I'm not doing that because my throat hurts now. But I feel like I do a mean Sam Elliott impersonation.
You do, though.
The new Ford F-150 with enough towing package and capacity to bring all that lumber you need to come in.
Anyway, don't get me started with the atomic giggles. They're not going to stop.
The Revolutionary War hero who was openly gay originally posted in 2018 and was updated in February 2020 on History.com. Since, it's October History Month. Ding! Gay men have always been a part of the American military. In an era before gay marriage or open pride, military men fell in love, formed passionate friendships, and same-sex encounters. Due to social and official discrimination, though, most of their stories have gone untold. I don't know why I said Ben in there.
Gone.
But in the case of one military's founding heroes, homosexuality was always part of the story. Baron Frederick von Steuben, a Prussian military man hired by George Washington to whip the Continental Army into shape during the darkest of days of the Revolutionary War, is known for his bravery and the discipline and grit he brought to the American troops. Historians also think he was a homosexual and served as an openly gay man in the military at a time when same-sex men was punished as a crime. Though his name is little known among Americans today, every U.S. soldier is indebted to von Steuben. He created America's professional army.
The army works for the gays.
The army works for the gays, and it is very inspirational as he talk. It goes down further talking about like how he was with drills and everything, and like a lot of the stuff that's tradition for the army has been because of von Steuben. And then the reason why he was actually he was dismissed from the Prussian army because of being homosexual. But Benjamin Franklin is actually the one who recommended him to Washington to join the military. And he was Frederick the Great's personal aide as a young man. And later in life, he was wrote about as an implacable enemy who had apparently led to his firing, which is Frederick in that quote. But
That is really cool.
yeah, it's just really cool because like it's history we don't get to see a lot. Like you and me always make the reference to the joke of historians being like, "Oh, they were just really good gal pals."
Yeah, Sappho and her friend.
Like they were just really good friends. No, Harold, they
They're
were
lesbians.
lesbians. So yeah, it's just really cool to see because like he's not the only one that's really different from what America becomes later. Like there was an African American man who was a slave and then was free. Because how the U.S. was, it was still the Continental States. They were fighting for their freedom. He was a major pivotal point of the war. Like one of our first spies was during the Revolutionary War. Like there was a lot of different things that like we take a look at history and it just gets worse, even though it was better before we become a country, and then it becomes worse when we become a country, and then it starts to get better again. It's really weird.
Yeah. History's weird.
It really is. So let's go with your. So sorry. Oh, you're good. We had Panda Express before we came in today to
I feel so
record.
bad. I'm just really thirsty. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, you're good. We got some of that Panda E with the sugar chicken.
Do they have anything else?
No. Well, I mean, they do.
The sugar chicken, those. I was so upset if that sign would have said, "We're out of sugar chicken." I would have. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. I wanted Panda E so bad. It was so good.
She thirsty. Do you want to go with your second article thingy?
Yeah, sorry. I was just staring in the ether. Alright, so I found this really cool. It was kind of like an editorial article. Letter to the editor style kind of thing. Just kind of, hey, I have something I want to talk about. It was labeled, I summarized it. It was like an article about THC, CBD, and caffeine and how they interact with each other, which is pretty neat.
Oh, so basically, this is going to explain how I felt during the last episode
Yes,
when I had
this
my
is-
monster.
Yes, this
high
is
off
going
my
to
line.
explain that. So, some places it's known as Seattle Speedball. I'll let you try to figure out where those places are.
Okay, so Seattle is in the state of Washington.
It's Seattle. In Seattle. It's called Seattle Speedball. It's the caffeine's a stimulant that blocks the neurotransmitters in the brain from making you feel sleepy. These two things that do this are called cortisol and adrenaline. And they pass through in the same way. Like, so cannabinoids and caffeine enter the system through the blood-brain barrier, is what it's called. Mm-hmm. So they act in similar ways, and they went on to compare like how an indica is. I get these confused all the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the indicas are the skinny ones that make you hyper. Correct. Yes, sativas are bigger leaves, and they make you sleepy. See, I have it flipped. No,
have it
wait, I do have
flipped.
sativa speed sativa.
Yeah,
Okay.
because sativas the ones where I smoke and I want to clean the entire house.
And if I smoke it, I have an anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the sativas were being compared to I'm sorry, folks. She just like flipped her tongue at me for no reason. Got me off guard. Pick it back on track. This isn't the Unstoppable movie. That train's not just going to keep on rolling off the track. Sativas. God damn. Sativas have the similar effect and affect the body the same way that like caffeine does. It increases your heart rate. It makes you zoomy, whatever, you know? So they went on to, talk about like the social effect of it. And how it's called ritualistic wellness, which is kind of weird. But
I mean, it kind of just sounds like hippies or like you and me or like witchcraft.
yeah,
Or paganism. Paganism, but
yeah,
we've been saying weird words weird or saying them in place of stuff that could just kind of make things a little happier. Like instead of saying pandemic, we say panorama.
or Pangea. Panini, any other P word that isn't
Pagonia.
Patagonia, Pandemonium, Panic at the Disco. Oh my goodness.
I feel like I have Wade's laugh when he gets super drunk in Letterkenny.
Yeah, you do. Oh my god. Anyway, what were we talking about prior?
Social wellness.
Social wellness. It was called like I said, ritualistic wellness. That's what it's called.
Yes.
So the small rituals. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you. The small rituals you do every day. So if you're like me for a long time, when I first got my coffee maker, and I used to do this again, I'd get up a little early. I'd measure out that how many ever tablespoons of espresso grounds. I'd pack it into the little cuppy. I'd put it in the machine. I'd get the water out from the Brita and measure it out and put it in the reservoir in the back, and then I'd watch it bubble and steam and then pour it into, make it a latte. Or sometimes I just drink straight espresso because I was that desperate for caffeine.
You don't drink straight espresso. You can't do anything straight.
No. But that ritual in the morning is something calming. It's something you do every day that gives you this little tiny piece of peace. And they were talking about how that is with using marijuana too. If you roll your own, you're grinding the bud, you're breaking it up, putting it in the grinder, and putting it in the paper, and you're rolling it like you have 100 times before, and you become entranced in that, and that's your little tiny piece of peace. So combining these two can be very relaxing, not only in a physical standpoint, but in an emotional standpoint as well. And the guy who was basically interviewed for the article, he is an avid caffeine and cannabis user together. And in the morning, he usually takes his coffee with a little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar, and a full spectrum CBD gummy. And the CBD help offsets the jitteriness of the caffeine. So whenever you were feeling I'm focused, I'm alert, hello, and you weren't jittery. I know you said you weren't jittery like you usually are with energy drinks. That's why, is because the CBD in whatever you were smoking was taking that edge off of that jitteriness for you.
Because I felt the zoomy noomies, but I didn't feel the shaky bakey.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
I don't know why I said that. The zoomy noomy is a TikTok reference.
And the shaky bakey.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Wait, shake and bake and wake and bake? I mean, I don't know.
Freaking know. Wake and bake on your wake and bake your shake and bake. Weed shake and bake. Weed and grub should make that a thing. Weed shake and bake. Anyway, BB, focus.
I'm focusing. I'm just jamming out.
There's no music.
I'm jamming out to your sweet information that you're giving me. Just vibing.
Word.
Just let me vibe.
Okay, so. But yeah, that's the CBD is what took that jittery feeling off the edge for you.
All right.
He's also been experimenting with different combinations of strength of caffeine and strengths of THC and CBD. And he said that one of his favorite mixes he's found so far is an Americano with a hint of cream, evenly balanced strain of weed for an even head and body high. So a hybrid with a decent range of kind of level outs,
Okay, so awesome. That's really cool actually. But I'm gonna give you a barista test. What's an Americano?
An Americano is depending on the size, 2, 3, or 4 shots of espresso. If it's hot, you fill it up to the top with hot water. If it is iced, you put ice in it and you fill it with cold water. Don't put the ice in before the espresso because you shock the espresso and it changes the flavor. And it's espresso and water. And if you throw a little bit of cream in that, and that's what he's talking about in this article.
Cool. Just want to see if you remember that stuff. It's been a while since you barista'd.
Oh yeah, that's ingrained in me. That's my natural habitat. I'm the stoner NB in the coffee shop.
So,
Me myself sound very sultry.
Is it time for my next article?
Yeah, it's time for your next article.
So this one's titled "Biden Highlights Anti-LGBT Bills Equality Act on Coming Out Day."
I saw that briefly, not super in detail.
I'm gonna put on my best news anchor. Because this is from thehill.com. That's a gender affirming. Wow, my voice got really effeminate. See, doing that actually helps you with voice training and stuff. So I'm trying to get better at it because I do listen to this recording when I'm editing and when I'm not. Once I post it and everything. And I just feel like that my voice has gotten a little masculine because I get tired and stoned.
That's like the same thing can be said for like if you want your voice to sound more masculine, you go oh.
Yeah, you make an O instead of an E.
Oh, and then that way your voice is like down here now. But I have the same problem. I'll listen to our podcast, and like halfway through, I'll be like, "Ew, my voice! What happened to my voice? Gross."
So this article was written on the 11th of October, and it reads: President Biden on Monday called for the defeat of the anti-LGBT bills in state legislatures and for the Senate passage of the Equality Act to mark National Coming Out Day. This quote from Biden says, "Despite the extraordinary progress our nation has made, our work to ensure the full promise of equality is not done yet. The anti-LGBTQ plus bill still proliferate in state legislations, and bullying and harassing, particularly of young transgender Americans and LGBTQ plus people of color, still abounds and diminishes our national character." He continues to called state legislation targeting the LGBT community discriminatory. Several bills have passed in states that are widely considered anti-LGBT, such as Texas, Arkansas, and Tennessee, have taken up measures that would place restrictions on transgender people. The Equality Act would prohibit discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity, which would also help in a lot of the federal court cases in the Supreme Court circuits. The House passed the measure largely along party lines earlier this year, and the Senate has yet to take up the bill. The LGBTQIA plus people across the country, and especially those who are contemplating coming out, know that you are loved for who you are admired for your courage, and you have a community and a nation that welcome you, Biden was quoted.
Aww.
Biden said on Monday he wants the LGBT community to know that they are loved and accepted regardless of whether or not they have come out. "My administration is committed to ensuring that the LGBTQ plus people can live openly, proudly, and freely in every corner of our nation," he said. Mm-hmm. He noted that LGBT officials are serving in the government and that his administration has made progress towards advancing protections and equal opportunities, including transgender Americans' ability to serve in the military and defending human rights globally. And then it goes on to talk about National Coming Out Day was first celebrated in 1988 in the United States to raise awareness for the LGBT community.
That's amazing.
Right? And here's the thing that I think is really cool. So you remember our Governor Tom Wolf, right? Mm-hmm. How he listened to his health advisor of the state, and I can't remember her name, but she was brought onto the Biden administration. Now I have to look it up. But
the amazing thing about Biden being in office for the LGBT community is because he was the vice president whenever Obama was in office, and he was working alongside Obama with a lot of those big LGBTQ movements that were going on when Obama was in office.
The United States Assistant Secretary for Health has been sworn in as the United States' first transgender 4-star officer in the country's history.
That's amazing.
Her name is Dr. Rachel Levine.
Yeah.
She was working with Tom Wolf when COVID stuff happened, and I remember a lot of people were making so many horrible jokes and everything.
Yeah, people were being so hateful towards her. I remember that now that you're talking about it. Yeah, it was
horrible.
I know. That's the period I unfriended a lot of people on Facebook.
Yeah, and to see her and see this administration actually take our community seriously and make note, because including Pennsylvania, there's a lot of gay panic and trans panic laws out there. And I think I touched on it a little bit in the last episode, but basically what these panic laws are is the moment someone finds out that you're gay, you're trans, whatever, they can kill you and get a very severely reduced sentence. And it basically comes into a hate crime in some areas, most of the time, because in PA it's a hate crime for us to get assaulted or anything, but we still have these old antiquated panic laws, And essentially, these laws make it so, like, say I get murdered, right? Instead of actually getting, like, manslaughter or murder in the first degree, it becomes manslaughter in the third degree, which is basically accidental murder. Because you, quote-unquote, lost your sanity temporarily because you found out, like, I was a trans woman.
I mean, that makes zero sense and that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're old, antiquated. It's from the Lavender Panic back in Eisenhower's administration, which is stupid. But it's nice to finally see, after so many presidents, using us as the boogeyman, using us as a scapegoat. Hell, Trump used the transgender community as a boogeyman. Mm-hmm. And especially Mitch McConnell.
And people could deny us health care there for the longest time because we were trans.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, to finally see an administration that's, like, super supportive and very vocal about it and has actual members of our community in his administration speaks volumes.
I remember I watched one of his presidential speeches, and it was about how he wanted... I remember the piece that stuck out the most. It was right near the end, and he was like, I want everybody to have that American dream of feeling like they belong in this place. To our elderly folks, to our armed services, to our LGBTQ and transgender individuals, like, I see you, and I want you to feel like this is your home now. And I'm like, I was sitting there tearing, I'm tearing up now. Like, I was sitting there tearing up. That's the first president in my life that said something like that. Like, right? They care. Just like, oh, I'm a big ball baby. I'm so sorry.
So I got two other things that aren't exactly topics, but I wanted to bring them up. You okay, baby?
Yeah, just keep talking about me.
So first off, I think this is in the new Chucky show.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
And I really want to watch it.
By yourself.
Yeah, I would
have
to.
Because I'm not doing it.
Because you are definitely afraid of Chucky and animatronics and dolls because of that.
Folks, I have automatonophobia. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. Quick story time. My parents went to bed, and I remember getting up and wandering into the living room, not turning any lights on, being super quiet, right? And flipping through the channels, and Child's Play comes on the TV. And
the OG Child's Play.
OG Child's Play, and all I see is this creepy-ass doll killing this woman, he killed her boyfriend in front of her. It was a scene in the bedroom, and he killed her boyfriend in front of her and then killed her, and I was just like, yep, nope, fuck this, I'm going to bed. Traumatized for life now, thank you. I will take that. Alex, traumatized for life for 200, please.
So I think it's in the show, but basically Chucky's talking to this kid, and he goes, you know, I got a queer kid. And he's like, you have a kid? He goes, gender fluid. And they kind of talk about, like, how Chucky has a kid a little bit. And it goes to the third Chucky movie, because you have Chucky, Bride of Chucky, and it's either Seed or Spawn of Chucky.
I think it's Spawn of Chucky?
In the third one, Chucky's child, for most of the movie, says he, like, is treated like a boy and everything, and Chucky wants to have a son, and they're very confused about who they are. Where Chucky's wife wants to have a daughter. So they kind of flip back and forth at certain points, and there's one scene where they go full femme, and they go psycho killer like Chucky is. But when they're full, like, more the neutral and the masculine side, they're more like a soft boy. So I really want to start watching the Child's Play show, because I really liked... I don't do psychological horror, but I love slashes, like slash and gore, like those sides of horror.
Or like some of the older, old. They were psychological horrors.
But they were like it's so obvious that, like, I don't get scared.
Yeah.
So the second thing I wanted to bring up.
You missed the most important quote though.
What?
He was like, "So you're okay with this?" The kid was still talking to him. You're okay with this? He's like, well, yeah, I'm not a monster.
Yeah.
It's like you have a serial killer telling a kid that he's not a monster because only a monster would, like, shun their transgender child or their queer child, and it's like, that speaks volumes.
Right. So, and thank you for that. I did forget that part. I knew I was forgetting something.
It's like the best part of the movie, the clip.
So, I've been trying to work on edibles some more, And this is the second time I tried making gummies. The first time I made it just straight with our tincture, and it ended up hard, very hard to chew. And I shared it online with this group I'm in. And they were like, "No, that's a good recipe. I don't know what happened. Did you let them sit out and air dry to cure?" I'm like, "No. How long do I do that for?" And they say 1 to 2 days. I'm like, "Okay." Today's the second day of the air drying. Excuse me, I had a burp. Of the second batch, and I did one set with the tincture because we ran out.
Yeah.
And then a couple sets with just making gummies. And they ended up hard again. And I think it's either I'm not adding enough water or I'm boiling it for too long that it's losing water.
Yeah.
So I was told to let it sit in the bowl of warm water and spray some hot water on it after I take it off. And I'm letting it sit, the air dry a little bit more. And we're going to try them again to see if they're chewy. But if you guys have like a gummy recipe for me, please send it via our Instagram at Smoking Out the Closet, our Twitter at Smoking Out Pod,
Shameless plug.
my personal Instagram at High Flying Rayven,
And my personal Instagram at 420NB.
or our Gmail at smokingoutthecloset@gmail.com. If you have recipes, please let me try them.
Or like a video, or like send her a YouTube link or a WikiHow article.
Yeah, because like I found some recipes for like hard candy, and some people either use like soy lectin, sunflower lectin, or was it cornstarch
Yeah.
that I said earlier?
Yeah.
And they use that to make it more squishy. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I could try that. I don't know, but I want to start working with edibles, and like I want to experience, because I had a bad experience like many people do the first time I had it, and I don't think it was because I ate too many too fast. I think I just ate too much in general because we were hardcore gaming and I was snacking the entire time for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
We all ended up throwing up, and I think it's because we ate too much food, and the cannabis brownies were just too much on top of it.
I can confirm. I've been there. That's the time that I went to the hospital. Combined with the blunt wrap that whatever it was wrapped with, what I was smoking with. And then I had like 3 hot dogs and like a cheeseburger prior.
Ooh.
And like some soda and iced tea and shit. Yeah, that's smoking that. I was like, oh fuck. And I projectile vomited all over the fucking place.
Speaking of blunt wraps, I got some non-tobacco blunt wraps that are actually made out of hemp from a company called Afghan Hemp. And they're hemp-based wraps, and I really want to try it. I keep forgetting I have them. You tried a new set of wraps here not too long ago.
I did. They're called Juicy J's, and my gosh, I got the grape ones. They taste like grape. Like they taste like grape high chew. Like, and you know how much I love me some high chew when I'm high.
Oh
high
yeah.
chew. I'm gonna dig in that bag later. Anyway, like I love high chews when I'm high, and like it tastes like a grape high chew with like the lemon kush headband is what I tried it with, and that lemony piney taste of the kush headband just meshed so well with the grape. It was amazing. And then also, is it Hempire?
Yeah, you have the Hempire.
I had the
wrap.
Hempire, the rolling papers, and those are nice. Like they're smooth. They have their own kind of little bit of, excuse me, kind of like an earth, like a flat earth tone. Yeah, flat earth, but like it's just an earth tone, not like a really like herby. And it complements whatever weed you put in it really well.
I've been using OCB rolling papers, and they're really nice. I like them a lot better than raw, which was saying something because I love raw. And that they're actually, they're set in France, but they're all, like, the company's using green energy as much as they can to produce everything, and I fucking love that.
That's cool.
I can't think of anything else. We're only about, like, almost 40 minutes.
Might be short.
A little short episode. We were a little long last time.
Yeah.
But, I do want to get into the cannabis industry, somehow. And this is my way to get into the cannabis world. It's part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast. So, those of you in Pittsburgh, especially any of you who work at Sunnyside in Pittsburgh, hit your girl up
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, cough, cough, wink, wink. Because I will work there, and I'm a hard worker. I currently have the title of general manager on my resume. I had to say it a little fancy extra. Resume. Did you resume your game? No, I paused it.
Oh, Lord, on that note.
And on that note, this has been another episode of Smoking Out of the Closet. I'm Rayven.
I'm Alex.
And we hope to have you listen to your favorite queer stoners on any media outlet that you listen to your podcast on. For those of you who are on Apple Podcasts, or if you want to leave us a decent review to get us more spread out there, leave a review. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. Just let us know how you're doing. And before we wrap up, we need to do our Skittles.
We need to do our Skittles. I almost forgot about our Skittles.
You go first.
Okay, so the job and the moving and the everything would not have been possible without my old boss, Amanda. You're the freaking best. I love you. Like, you're the best boss ever. And, like, you made so many phone calls, pulled some strings for me, got me to talk to people whenever I was like, Amanda, I can't get a hold of them. I applied like 3 times on Indeed. What's going on? You made phone calls. You did a lot of work behind the scenes, and you are the reason that I am here right now. And I appreciate the hell out of you.
I appreciate you too, Amanda. You're the best. Also, kind of with your weed Instagram, just so people know, I post pictures of me on both our personal account, like my personal account. But you don't. So I post my pictures on my personal, on my weed Instagram. I post them on our podcast Instagram, but you don't. And I think I know why. So I was talking about it with one of my friends today, and it's because you want to work with CYS, and they are very hard on stuff like this because they are technically connected to the federal government.
Yeah.
So you got to put that on the down low.
The very down lows. The lowest of lows.
So I just don't want people to be like, why where's Alex's face? Where does Alex look like?
How do we know this is actually Alex's account?
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of want to put that out there.
Yeah, I don't show my face, but I show you all the beautiful bud that I get from the dispensary. Just trust it's me behind there.
So my Skittle this week is my amazing, wonderful, and loving partner, Alex. I am so proud of you, baby.
Don't make me cry on the podcast. Don't make me cry on the podcast.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so lucky to be your partner, and I'm so excited to do this move with you. And I wanted to shout you out because honestly, I originally was going to do this podcast with 2 other people, and that fell through, and you were like, let me do it with you, and you've just been the most supportive and loving person I've ever had next to my mom, like, in my life. And I just wanted to shout you out on that.
I love you.
I love you too.
Made me cry on the podcast.
Well, we can cuddle on the couch afterwards.
So adorable.
I
love you.
I love you too, baby. So this has been Smoking Out the Closet. I'm Rayven.
I'm Alex.
And we're your favorite queer stoners on the airwaves. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Later.